We are here because our tribes are Zionist tribes. We are pro-Israel, we love Israel, we support you as the indigenous people, the Jewish people, as the indigenous people of Israel.
You mentioned indigenous, and basically that's one of the things that you're trying to remind people here. The connection between the rights that the Jews have to their land and the rights that Native Americans claim to their lands.
Absolutely. Well, one, we share a very common history. While things have been really bad for Native people, for over 500 years, it's been worse for the Jewish people for thousands. And we are all indigenous to somewhere. And there's only one place that the indigenous people of Judea are indigenous to, the Jewish people, and that's Judea, Israel. So as First Nations people, we see your story as a story of hope.
And a story of healing. You have, through the resilience of your people, been an inspiration. You love life. You have recovered from generations of trauma, and you're an example to our people that we can still embrace and love life and grasp for healing through the trauma and through the problems and the difficulties that life brings.
Now, you yourself have Jewish ancestors, but how do others who don't, but are part of your community, how do they relate to Judaism?
Well, there's a very first contact between my tribe and the Jewish people were the Sephardim that were fleeing Spain in 1492. And they landed on my island in 1493 of Boriken. And many of the Sephardim actually fought with us in the first Indian wars against colonization and against the Spanish. And so as a result, many of us carry the DNA of the Sephardim that came to our lands. And how does that affect us today? One of the things that we're trying to do is to remind people of that legacy of our indigenous ancestors and that connection with the Sephardim who fought with us.
I think it's important to note that Joseph did not know until just a few years ago that he even had Sephardic blood. He's been very pro-Israel for a long time, but it was only when his father passed away that he inherited books from the family, and then ended up finding out that they were B'nai and Usim. And so, but your question about others who don't have Jewish blood, I don't have Jewish blood that I know of, but the community split. There are many people who are pro-Israel, many who don't understand or know a lot about the history of the Middle East, and then there are some who have been duped by the pro-Palestinian narratives of comparing Native people here in the U.S. to the Arabs and the Palestinians in Israel. So unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of lack of education because we have a lot of problems at home ourselves. And so but we can learn from you. And that's why I want our people, to know the beauty of your indigeneity and your resilience through everything.